Hi everybody, so today we're gonna do like a modern version of a 90s makeup. And 90s makeup is so epic, and actually the 90s are having a comeback. They have been having a comeback for maybe like a year or two now. So it's in like full-blown motion, and I wanted to do something like more like an updated version of a 90s makeup because a typical 90s makeup is very matte, is very, it's not, it's to me it feels a bit heavy now and outdated, but it's very beautifying. I was inspired by this beautiful book, The Art of Makeup by Kevyn. It was very kindly gifted to me by a friend, and I was browsing through it and I was like these, like I thought like these makeup looks are so beautifying. However, they feel a tiny bit heavy and outdated now, so I thought, well, we can do something that feels a tiny bit more modern, and that it has something that has the same essence, but it's just updated. So we're gonna do that today. Okay, so 90s makeup is all about neutral shades. So it's very much in the like browns and taupes and like very earthy tones. So we're gonna stay within that range. And the skin is normally very beautified, it's very perfected. But like I said, I wanna do something that feels more more dated, like not dated, I'm sorry. I want to do something that feels a tiny bit more modern. So I want the perfection of the skin, but I don't want the heavy, flawless, completely flawless finish. So that's why we're going to use Armani Luminous Silk, because I found this to be very beautiful on the skin. It gives a very even coverage, and even skin tone, but it doesn't look heavy. So I'm just taking like this much, not a lot, and I'm gonna start in the center of my face, which is where I need the most coverage. And I'm actually going to spread it with an Artis brush because, like I said, I do want the coverage, I just don't want the heavy feeling. And this makeup is gonna be perfect for like photographs or like special events. It's very like, it's really like like the perfect makeup for every occasion, really. And this foundation is particularly good for photograph because it photographs beautifully. So this makeup is a good idea if you're gonna be taking a lot of pictures. The reason for that is that, one, like I said, is very beautifying, but it's also about definition. If you see magazines from the 90s or books from the 90s, like they are like very contoured and very shaded, you know. It was about giving like a three-dimensional feel to the face. Okay, so I did my foundation and now I'm gonna do concealer, and I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way Sculpting Concealer. And this is absolutely amazing. It's so good. I'm gonna use it also to cover like a few spots here and there. Around my face, around my nose. The tip of my nose tends to get really red. And around my lips where I get like shadows. And it's going to like lift everything up. So one of the things for me that feels most outdated about 90s makeup is that everything is very matte. So we want to like bring back the luminosity of the skin, of the eyes, you know, like still giving that three-dimensional feel, but using more like shimmer and light. So the foundation gives me that because even though it's not like a glossy, dewy finish, it does have some luminosity. It's very like natural, like real skin. So it's not gonna blank me out completely like a matte foundation would do. Okay, so now I'm gonna use powder, and I'm using the Mercier translucent powder, and I'm gonna use it only where I need it. So that means, for me, it means the center of the face, well, starting under my eyes before everything creases. and trying to keep it exactly where I need it. I don't want it like on my cheekbones because I like the natural shine there, and I'm avoiding like making everything too matte. So I'm just gonna do it like in the center of my face, grabbing the product, like grabbing very little product, and on top of my lips, and I'm just going to, with whatever is left on the brush, I'm going to place it on my, like on my cheeks where I'm going to put the blush, because I'm going to use a powder blush. Okay, I'm going to come back to the skin after. I'm going to do my eyes first, and I'm going to start doing my brows. Back in the 90s, they used to thin the brows like very much. They were like so thin, so skinny. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to use a tiny bit of gel liner. You do whatever you want to do with your brows, you know, whatever you're used to doing, do that. But combing them up is always a good idea because it's going to lift everything up. Okay, so now to the eyeshadow. I use a tiny bit of concealer, a teeny tiny bit of concealer on my eyes, and I blended it in, and I put some powder on top. This is going to act as my primer. And I'm gonna do my eyeshadow now, and again, the idea of this is to give shade and contour to the eye and to the overall, like to the face in general. So we're gonna be using the theory of light and shadow. So if you think about it, whatever is darkest, it it recesses back, and whatever is lighter, it comes forward. So we want to use something lighter here, and we want to use something darker along the crease, because it's going to create shadow and it's going to create like a lifted effect, and like we have like very defined contours, which is really what we all want, don't we all? So for that, I'm gonna use this eyeshadow palette, and this is actually so affordable. It's from the drugstore, and this is NYX. And this is perfect because it has like a bunch of like very light neutral shades. It has like a row of pinks. It has this taupey shade, which is going to be amazing if you're very fair and you want to like give some contour to the eye, like a deep brown. And it has like some cool tones here. This shade here, which is, I don't know, it doesn't have anything to do with anything really, but whatever, it's there. So this is going to give me everything that I need. If you want something a tiny bit more warm tone, you can use something like this, which is also from the drugstore. It's L'Oreal, and it has 2 matte shades and then this shimmer shade. I'm not using this because I want to use the dark brown in the other palette, so that's the only reason really. And I'm going to start with a flat brush, and I'm going to mix in these 2 shades here, and I'm going to place it on my eyelid, and this is going to sort of like open up the eye. And because I don't want like a super matte look, I'm actually going to take some of this shade, which has a tiny bit of shimmer, and going to place it on the top. Now I'm going to take a fluffy brush, and I'm using Sigma E25, and I'm going to dip into this brown shade. I'm going to remove the excess in the back of my hand because I don't want a ton of payout, and I'm just going to start going over my crease and my outer V. You can look down and just work like that, and it's going to sort of like help you find where your crease is. Then take a cleaner brush and go over it, and this is going to help you smooth everything out and make it look very seamless. Taking a tiny bit more and focusing it on the outer corner. And going over. A key thing for this makeup is that everything was very well blended, so you have to be very diligent with your blending. So take like deposit your product, take a clean brush and go over it, and then deposit some more and go blend more. It's gonna take you a minute to do it, but it'll give you the best effect. I'm also gonna take the flat brush that I used in the beginning, and I'm going to run it like underneath my brows, just to illuminate it there, just to make it, just to lift it up a tiny bit. And I'm gonna take the same shimmer shade and I'm gonna place it in the inner corner. Okay, now I'm gonna take the brown and the taupey shade and I'm gonna run it under my lashes just for some definition there. And it helps, actually, if we take a mirror and place it up. It gives us more space to work. And you join it up on the corner. And intensify just the outer edge. Okay, so back in the 90s I also used to use a lot of like liquid liner, and now I'm gonna use the tattoo liner by Kat Von D, and I'm gonna draw a very thin line as close to the lashes as possible. So this is not a cat eye, this is not, you know, a very thick statement liner. This is just going to define the lashes. Oops, and I made a mistake there. I'm gonna take a Q-tip and just go over it. Take the blending brush that I was using and go over and blend. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back to the same brown shade, the same dark brown shade, and with a small brush, I'm gonna pick up the product and go over the liner that I just created. This is going to give it like a softness, which looks very pretty. Okay, so I finished my eyeshadow and I'm gonna do mascara, and I'm using the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir. And I'm just gonna focus in the roots of the lashes, not because this is what was done in the 90s, just it's because, you know, it's the mascara technique that I prefer at the moment. I feel like if I go in the roots and then kind of like go up but stop so that I don't get the tips, the lashes look a tiny bit more feathery. Okay, so now I'm gonna do contouring, and contouring was very popular in the 90s, as it is now really. However, back then it was when the perfect face, you know, and all of these like standards really like boomed. So it was very much about being like oval, the perfect like oval shape, very thin, very like long faces, beautiful three-dimensional faces. So we're gonna do that today, and I'm using the Kevyn Aucoin, how very fitting, the Kevyn Aucoin contour powder, and I like to use the lightest one. You would think that maybe I would go for something for the medium one, but I like the lightest because it gives me the contour, but you can't see it on the skin. So I'm gonna use a Real Techniques brush, and I'm gonna start contouring under my face, under my cheekbones. And I don't tend to do a lot of contouring because my face is naturally very thin, so it's not something that I go for. But for the purposes of this video, we're gonna go along and do it. So I'm gonna still do it very lightly. They used to be a tiny bit more heavy-handed with it, but I'm just not gonna do it because this is more like a modern version of it. And one thing that I do like to do is contour my jawline, especially here in the back. It gives me a lot of definition. Okay, so I contour my face. I did contouring on my nose, but the camera stopped filming. And now I'm gonna go with blush, and I'm using Nars Deep Throat, which is a very beautiful blush. It's a classic. It's one that I go to time and time again because it's very flattering, the shade. It's kind of like the like Orgasm without all the gold shimmer, which sometimes I don't think it's so flattering, especially if you have a lot of texture on the skin. But this one is very pretty. So I'm just going over the apples of my cheeks, and I think I went too overboard with the blush there, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna put on the lipstick and see and decide if I want to like remove some or just leave it as is. Okay, so that's my face done, and I'm gonna do the lips, and I'm using Charlotte Tilbury Penelope Pink because this is very pretty. It's very 90s. It's like a pinky nude, but it has like a brownie quality to it. So I thought this would be perfect. And because there's no 90s without a good lip liner, I'm using Strip Down, which is also like kind of like brownie, and I'm just going to use it to define my lips. I'm gonna take, actually with the Real Techniques brush, I'm gonna take some of that champagne shade and remove the excess and just use it as a tiny bit of highlighter, because I don't want the skin to feel so matte, and this is going to give it that luminosity that is so popular now. I'm gonna use it in the center of my nose, teeny tiny bit. Okay, so this is the final look, and I really like it. It's very flattering. I feel like this is a very good look for like either everyday or maybe like a special occasion. If you're wearing something that is very like va-va-voom and you want something a tiny bit more like understated on your face. It's very elegant, and yeah, it's really pretty. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys soon.